Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your 100% tier race here at Zandvoort. Only 14 drivers in tonight, but it's enough for the race. And we go straight into qualifying, which will be a little bit of fun, eh? And yeah, it is going to be a little bit wet for the start. I think drivers would want to have a keen eye on the weather for this race and for qualifying. And we'll wait for everyone to start nicely. Before we do start, I'm going to look at the standings for the championship. I don't know if they have been updated. They may have been. Oh, that was from last week. So I'm imagining though that is Coffee still leading it? I could probably calculate it a little bit if I look at the results from last week. I think, yeah, Coffee will still be leading the championship, so going into this, he'll be fine. I wouldn't say sit in the pits for too long, because the weather's going to be interesting. Just depends when it becomes interesting. But it'll be good for the stream, I think. But yeah, so the 14 drivers tonight again, because it is realistic cars, so I'll go through the grid. So in the Ferrari, you've got Mrs. Poem from Tier 4. Done one of the best overtakes in the race last night, actually, down at Spa, so should be looking to do something similar here. In the Red Bull, you've got Kestia Forever. Again, I haven't seen too much of him, so... And I don't think he raced last week, so it'll be good to see what he can do tonight. Then the next best car will be the Mercedes. You've got Beast from Tier 2 and Doug from the International Tier. And he'll be looking for a good race tonight, that's for sure. Down the order of the lap, McLaren have just Iron Bro. A lot of drivers are getting out very early, which is interesting. But yeah, Iron Bro in the McLaren, and then in the Alpine, you've got Caganis. And your championship leader, that is Sergeant Coffee. The next car, again, they're all coming out thick and fast. Who is next after that? It will be Alfa Romeo, but they don't have a single driver, even though they were supposed to. But anyways, yep, so no Alfa Romeos on show tonight. In the Haas, you've got Ray. And is he on his own? Yep, it looks like he is. But then in the Haas... Oh, sorry, in the Haas, did I say? AlphaTauri, sorry, you've got Ray, who is one of the quickest drivers in Tier 2 still. But looking for him to show that pace this season as a spin for a Red Bull for Kestia. Hopefully he'll be able to get himself back on track. So yeah, you've got William in the Haas and McCage as well alongside two of the quickest in Tier 2, both battling for that title. So our drivers just starting their laps now, and it is the two Williams of Bad Boy and Hazer. So those two, of course, from Tier 1. They'll be looking to show their Tier 1 pace tonight. Of course, it won't be too easy in that car. And then you've got Tajani and Rusted Bolt, both in the Aston Martin. Both also from Tier 1. So Bad Boy, the first driver on track. The majority are out on the grid as well. You've just got an Aston, a Ferrari and a Mercedes still in the garage. Probably won't need to focus too much on the wet setup, I'll be honest with you. And the track just... It is still raining lightly. But as I said, the weather will be interesting. So if you haven't checked the weather, it's pretty much on you. Hopefully the majority have checked the weather though. 56.8 for Bad Boy. We're just going to compare it to Hayes, who comes in 57.4. So Bad Boy's on for a better lap, it seems. 6/10 ahead of his teammate. As things stand, so let's see around the final corner here at Zandvoort. First official lap time, and it will be Bad Boy in the Williams, and it is a 1:21.2. Hazer comes in at 122.3, so it's 1.1 seconds splitting the two Williams. Bad Boy ahead of Hazer, and Kaganis close as well, 122.3. Doug at 121.5, a good time from him. 3/10 behind Bad Boy, so he looks like he's in a good place at the moment. We'll go with McCage actually. Although he's only starting a lap. William 122.7. Not ideal from him. What about Tajani next over the line? And he's just starting a lap low. 122.9. Kestra 122.8. Ray just starting his lap as well. And Sergeant Coffee, your leader, over the line goes P9 23.0. Don't need to go all out on this lap though. Iron Bro P3, good time, 22.2. So only a couple of drivers though are in the 121s, and that's your first runs completed from the majority of the field. Now Ray is your next driver yet to set a lap time. I think, though, if I have a little look further forward, there will be drivers who haven't set a time at all. Tajani, I say, well, they have set a time, but they haven't used the ERS, which is the case for Tajani. Anyone else? Williams recouping it pretty well. The Cage hasn't started using his, but is gaining by 0.2. 22.7 though without using ERS. Very nice from him. Doug over the line doesn't improve. Did set a purple final sector though, but he did invalidate his time. Apparently, did he? Although that may have actually been a successful time. So 21.3 did actually improve. And also Bad Boy keeping at it with a 21.2. Has got enough ERS to run for another lap as well. Kestra just completed his lap. He's in the top 3 now, 21.9. And times will definitely be improving. Ray, 22.5 for him. And let's see where we'll go to William, further down the field. Yeah, he was taking it slowly for that lap, so he'll be going again. And what about Iron Bro? Again, he's just going to have to take it slowly for this one. Yeah, got a few Dutchmen out there, for sure. Coffee, you got Beast out there. Is there another one? Maybe? Not sure where Kesjo would be from, actually. But yeah, I know we've got at least 2 out on track today from the Netherlands. I'll have a little look of Hazer. Is he on for an improvement? Possibly. And let's see over the line. 20.3, so it is provisional P1 for Hazer. Bad Boy over the line. He goes quicker, 20.1. So we're in the 120s firmly now. Yeah, so Doug, 21.3 still, but wasn't able to improve on that lap. The Cage goes quicker, 120.6, so times are certainly going quicker. We were going to go to Tajani, goes P4, 21.2. Kestra goes into the pit. I just saw a spin then from Doug. Doug's just gone into the... Has he just lost his rear ring? Maybe not. Or he may have got damage to his rear ring. He wasn't taking it easy then. Tajani is also from the Netherlands. Interesting. So there you go, 3 drivers in there. Let's go down to Iron Bro, who goes quickest, 20 flat. Good time from him in that McLaren, showing some pace. The 2 Williams behind, the 2 Haas are 4th and 5th as well. Let's have a little look towards... Well, what's the Williams drivers doing at the moment? They're both pretty close together. And Bad Boy's the 2nd Williams, but he's got his teammate just ahead. Don't know if they're both on a lap or not, but they are running very close together. Bad Boy's just backing it up now. As Hazer go... Oh, wow. Hazer's gone into the pits and Bad Boy's going into the pits as well. Not the best from them two, to be honest. And Coffee's thinking about soft tyres now. There you go. So that's when the weather gets interesting. But Kagan is still P10 and Mercage goes quickest, 19.3. But yeah, the times are definitely going to go quicker as you go over the line. Tajani goes 2nd, 119.4. Is not Doug, so we'll go down the field. Mrs. Perm is on an out lap, Beast on an out lap, and Bolt is into the pit. I do think it's becoming a potential soft tyre time now. Yeah, it's definitely getting dry out there on the track now. Ray goes quickest, 18.8. And let's switch down to William. He's into the pit, so A lot of drivers now going to get rid of the intermediates and may have 2 runs on soft compound tyres. Iron Bro also into the pit. We'll go back to Mrs. P. Is she going to think about going into the pit, or will she try and complete a lap? Yeah, I think, yep, just about going into the pit. Went in pretty quickly, actually. I thought she was going to take it easy, but she wasn't. Doug as well, let's see, as there are yellow flags, which may have been for Doug, but he is also going into the pit. So everyone now is going to be making that switch to the soft compound tyre. You gave Iron Bro too good a car this time. Well, I don't know. I mean, 4th in the McLaren doing pretty well. We'll have to see what the soft tyre runs are like. Let's see how they can do on that. Ray is back out. Well, I say back out. He's still on the intermediates. Surely going to go into the pits on this occasion, though. Everyone surely is going to go on the soft tyres. It's looking too dry out there now. Yeah, indeed, he is into the pits. One of the last drivers on the inters now. Actually, I think he is the last driver on the intermediate. So everyone else now, I believe, will be switching on to the soft compound tyre, starting with the Red Bull of Kestia, who will be starting his lap first on the soft tyre. So expect him to go fast, as I'd say. And that rain has cleared up very quickly as well, so no real puddles or anything around on the track. And let's have a little look then. Nice through sector turn 1 as well is the Red Bull. See what his pace is like overall. Down in P9 at the moment, 21.9 from the intermediates. But yeah, as I said, everybody will be switching on for a soft tyre run. So 25.1 through sector 1. And I think Kesja will be about to go quickest overall. Are Williams next to set a time? Possibly Bad Boy and Hazer. Both on a lap time, it says. Yeah, the majority are now starting to start their lap times as well. A few are on out laps. Only Ray and Russell Bolt still remain in the pit lane. Although now it is just Rusted Bolt in the Aston Martin. Again, you should get 2 runs out of this. I doubt you'll be able to get 3 unless you go twice on the same tyres. But let's see, Kestia over the line, should go quickest. And indeed he does, 12.6. A good time by Kestia in that Red Bull. So let's switch down the field and have a little look towards Hazer. Can he go quicker than the Red Bull? Let's see. Hazer across the line, goes quickest, 12.3. 3/10 ahead of Kesja. Now go down to McCage. Not going out using his ERS though, so 19.3 is to remain for him. As Kaganis goes quicker as well. We're trying to go to Coffee. He goes P2, so the 2 Alpines nicely set for P2 and P4. And let's go down to... We're going to go to Iron Bro, but I don't think we will. What about William? Did he improve on that lap? He may have done. Yeah, I don't think he did actually. 20.7, he couldn't have improved. So it's only the top 5 who have set times at the moment. Bad Boy did also come in, I believe, to go P3 with a 12.4. Certainly close between the top 4 runners though. Just 3/10 between each of them. I will drop down to... we're going to... Not Doug, we'll... See, I see a Mercedes crossing the line. It wasn't Doug, it was Beast, who goes P6. 16.8, and either he didn't use the ERS, which by the looks of it he didn't use his ERS, so that's probably why. We'll go to Bolt, who's just about to start his lap. What about the Haas? Let's have a little look at McCage. Again, not using his ERS. Interesting. Is he going to use it now? No, apparently. Okay, so now he's starting to use his ERS. He still goes 5th fastest without using ERS though, 13.3. And now, okay, so it was Kaganis going into the pits. Let's go to the Mercedes of Doug. Can he go quicker? No, 13.0, still pretty decent. No, William follows that up as well with a 13.1. And Iron Bro also with a 13.1. What about Mrs. Perma? Just couldn't quite get to her. 16.1 without using ERS as well. And Tajani goes quickest, 12.2. Nicely done. So 1/10 quicker than Hazer for him. And Ray as well goes P6, 12.9. What about not Doug? It would have been Beast who goes P7, 13.0. And there you go. Times are coming in nice and quick now. Kestia has invalidated, but I think now was the time, if you're not in the pits now, probably go into the pits to prepare for your final run. Russell Bolt 13.5 on that run in the Aston Martin. It is looking pretty close though between all the drivers. Mrs. Perm is now on her lap again though, not using her ERS. Which is an interesting ploy at this stage of, yeah, not going particularly quickly either on that straight. But yeah, very interesting. Not using that ERS. I think she'll go for one final run, save either 1 or 2 sets of soft tyres, depending on what she's gone for. So let's see, Mrs. Perm will go over the line, but we'll start her final, well, what I believe will be her final run. She did actually go on the curve there, which is interesting, because down at turn 1, that curve is very, very slippery. Let's see Doug as well. Is he into the pits? Yep, so everyone is pretty much into the pits. Apart from Bolt, who's not improving. William is just preparing for a lap, all going into the pits. So we'll go back to Mrs. P, who improves by almost 1 second through Sector 1. So should be a considerable improvement from the Ferrari here. As a few drivers are now just taking to the track for their outlaps. You've got Coffee, Kestia and Kaganis all out on track, as is William, who looks like he's just about to start his lap, I believe. Yep, so William is now just starting a lap. Whether it's a hot lap, I'm not too sure. Let's see. I mean, he's used up so much of his ERS already. He needs to get that down for one final attempt, because he needs to get it back up to 100% if he can. So let's see then, Mrs. Perm. What time can she set? Can she go quicker than P14? She goes into the pit, so it's a late dart. Is that a smart choice? With 2 minutes to go, it's going to be really difficult for her to get a lap time in. Maybe she's left it a little bit too late. Let's have a little look who is on a time. Kestia is still got all of his ERS remaining. William not improving, and he is using his hot lap still. It's not going to help him. For me, he just needs to get that ERS up, but the thing is, he's still using his hot lap. So I don't really see him improving on P10. What about Kaganis? How is he doing? Again, not using his ERS. So we'll go back down to Coffee then, as Mrs. Perm indeed decides that she can't improve. So she'll have to stick with P14. 16.1 for her, but she was improving on that run. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised really. Maybe she doesn't want to show her ultimate pace yet here at Zandvoort. Maybe. Coffee though does improve by 4.5 tenths, so he is surely on to go quickest of all, and let's see if the Alpine can do so. Fuel ran out. I see. Makes sense, because yeah, you were on for an improvement. But anyways, Coffee then over the line goes quickest. It is a 1:12.0, and now we're going to have to see who is on a lap. Hazer just starting a lap, I believe. See, Kesja may have just finished his lap. 12.4, P5. I don't think he improved though. So I'm going to try and switch away to the Mercedes. Let's see if any of them are on a lap. Doesn't look like it. Well, Beast is on a lap now, but Doug is also just starting his hot lap. Let's go down to an Alpine. If it's Kaganis, yeah, and indeed it is. And again, it's showing up as it did show up as purple briefly. 4 tenths quicker though, through into sector 2. So let's see if he's going to get himself into the 1:12s. It is a pretty big gap between the top 5 and the rest of the field at this moment in time. Kaganis over the line. He goes P7. It's a 1:12.9 for him. And what about Ironbro? He's used up all of his ERS. Goes P3, a 1:12.3. And next up will be Ray. Currently P7. He goes P2, 112.1. And Tajani is next. And he goes quickest at 112.0. And what about the two Williams? I couldn't quite get to Bad Boy. He goes P2 for him. With also a 112.0. What about Kestia? Stays put. Drops to P8. Because it is a quicker time by Beast, who goes P7. Let's see. William over. Makata goes P4. 112.0 as well. Everyone's in with a 112.0. And let's see if there's an improvement here for Hazer. As Doug goes up to P9 in the Mercedes, the final opportunity. But Hazer's into the pit, so he won't get pole. It's P7 for him. It is pole for Tajani. That is incredibly close between the top four. All in with a 112.0. Tajani, Bad Boy, Coffee and McCage. Very impressive times here. With Ray, Ironbro, Hazer, Beast, Doug, Kestia, all very close as well. 4/10 splitting the top 10 here at Zandvoort. There you go. I think we got the cars pretty correct here. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but yeah, they're pretty much representative towards each driver. So you got Bolt a bit down the order in P11, but again he's consistent. He'll be able to get himself back up, I'm sure. Kaganis only P12, 9/10 away. William as well, P13 in that Haas. 1.1 seconds adrift. I think personally probably should have I don't know, I think the issue for William was that he just kept using hot lap for the last couple of laps, and I don't know why. I was very surprised by that. Mrs. Parham also down to P14, running out of fuel on her attempt when she would have improved for sure. But yeah, I think William definitely has more on his locker. Probably Bolt and Kaganis as well. Mrs. Parham would, of course. So I think all the drivers are pretty close together in terms of their pace given their cars. But the question is, who will be the most consistent to be able to take that victory? Yeah, that's the question. And again, it'll be interesting if we've got some rain in the race. That'll be an interesting one. Obviously, you're all probably thinking, oh, you should know, I'm the one who set the weather. Well, there you go. See? Bit of fun, eh? Yep, 5-minute break as per usual. And I think we will start. Let's see. I'll go 2036 if I put it in, unless it's been done already. Yeah, okay, perfect. There you go, 2036. See? Good thinking. Right. So it does look dry for the start of the race, but let's see. Last to first, William is thinking. Does it count last to first? I mean, if it's a last to first, aren't we thinking that's Mrs. Poem? There you go. William is supporting Mrs. Poem tonight, apparently, for a last to first. But yeah, in terms of the weather, it'd be interesting. I don't know if there's going to be any drops of rain. I have no idea. Because how I've set the weather is a bit like, yeah. So I can't guarantee that there won't be spots of rain, but I don't think there will be, but there could be, because we've had it before in a Tier 2 race where there wasn't actually meant to be rain until the last part. But there was rain for the majority of the race, but it was only a few drops. So yeah. But it will be intriguing to see what happens though. I'm trying to think though in terms of who would likely win though. It's difficult to say because every car, there's a big difference between each car obviously, but in terms of the drivers with the ultimate pace, you would obviously say those in Tier 1, but they're in cars that are at the back of the field, in terms of the Williams and the Aston Martin. I mean, Hazer and Bad Boy, you would just naturally expect them to be up there being Tier 2 drivers. Bolt, I would expect to make his way up the field, possibly. Tajani done really well as well to take pole in the Aston Martin. And then you've got the two Haas drivers who, for me, are very quick as well. So McCage, who qualified what, P4 I believe, and also William, who's down the order, but again he's got enough pace to get his way through the field. Um, so yeah, I mean, and that's just the back markers. You've also got loads in good cars at the front who may have been originally, say, tier 3 or 4, but they've got enough in them to either hold places or take advantage of the slower cars or whatever it may be. So yeah, it should be a good race with some good battling, and hopefully we'll get some fantastic overtakes as well. How many? How long have we got? Got a few minutes left. I'm just going to go get a quick bite to eat for the 100% race, so I will be back in just a moment. Right, and we are back. Glenn just had a little bite to eat and now all ready for this 100% race. So, just looking at who is watching. You got Mr. Poem, Doug, Kaganis, Ironbro, Ray, Tajani, William, and also Frost as well. I'm sure there's others who may not be showing up in that list, but yeah, good to see you all watching. And hopefully you'll be preparing for a good race here. 3 full safety car and 2 virtual. Be interesting, yeah, for the safety cars. Can't guarantee things. Hope it'll be nice to have a race where we don't have to rely on safety cars, but I don't know, maybe a safety car sometime during the race when not a lot's going on, if that ever happens. But yeah, need that full of fuel. Yeah, that'll be good as well. If people are under fueling here, you will want to make sure that there are safety cars. There's a bit of a problem if there aren't. I know one person who does typically under fuel as well, and he will be hoping there's a safety car if he is going to go that way, because I think he's done that in every race so far in the 100%, and that is one of the Williams drivers. I'll say that. Um, my favourite for this. I mean, let me have a little look for the grid order again, and I'll try and think to myself which car they're in and everything like that, and then I will try to make a prediction and a dark horse as well. Okay. Well, I'll wait for it to start up and then I'll have a look at the grid, have a look what tyres people are on as well, and then I will make a prediction for both of those. Ran out of fuel here on the line last season. Oh, wow. Was I on comms that day? I may have been actually. I probably should remember. But anyways, let's see as we will go into it now. 10 seconds and then I'll make those big predictions, which would obviously be totally wrong because they're predictions. You can't be right with a prediction, can you? Right then, formation lap is gonna go, and let's see then. So there you go, first driver to go is Tajani, and these are the tyre selections, and it's a soft tyre start for Tajani and Bad Boy. Interesting, they want to get a good getaway. Obviously being in two backmarker cars, Coffee, McCage, Ray and Ironbow on the mediums, Hazer and Beast on the hards. So the two Williams completely split in their strategies, one on the softs, one on the hards. Also the two Mercedes splitting. Interesting though, because Doug, who is very close to Beast there, wow. It's only the formation lap, Doug. You don't need to get into anyone yet. It's a bit too early for that. Anyways, yeah, it's interesting though, the two Mercedes, the strategy they're going on. You would have thought it may have been the other way around, mediums and hards, but it's hard and mediums. Kestra in the Red Bull, the lone Red Bull is on the mediums, Bolt on the mediums as well, Caganis on hards, William mediums, and Mrs. P on the hards. Okay, my predictions then. Who do I think will win this race? I'm gonna go the car they are in. Ooh. This is gonna be tough. I do need to think about this. I've got to go with someone who has to be starting at the front, I think, just because it only makes sense. Ooh, one of these top 5, I feel like. I'm going to go with Ray, I think. I'll edge with Ray, but I think it could be any of those top 5. I wouldn't exactly say Hazer's out of the question. But anything can happen in this race. William could come through the field quite nicely. But yeah, it's really difficult to make that prediction, but I'm going to just go with Ray. And now he's definitely DNFing on lap 1. That's definitely what's going to happen, isn't it? And a dark horse. So it's got to be someone outside the top 5, I think, personally. I'm going to go... I can't really go with Bolt because he's tier 1 already. That wouldn't be particularly fair. I'm going to go with Doug. I'm going to go with Doug. There you go. Surprise factor. Right. 5 lights and waiting for it to all go. Might take its time here. It does do that sometimes, doesn't it? Right, let's just prepare. Now it's lights out and away we go. Good start by Bad Boy, who's already ahead of Tajani. So Bad Boy leading the way from Tajani. You've got the Haas and the AlphaTauri side by side, and a few others as well. Mrs. Perm dropping down the field. Let's see if everybody gets away pretty cleanly. Side by side ahead, and the Mercedes on the inside. Very, very interesting lines. Oh, Doug, don't make contact, keep it clean. Oh, off goes Beast, and through goes Caganis. So he's through already, and up into the top 10. Nicely done from him. Further down the field, Mrs. P and William side by side, and William is up into 13th place. Let's go down again. Let's have a little watch of Sergeant Coffee. He's just moving around on the screen quite a bit actually compared to everyone else. Hopefully it's not happening for everyone else, but he is moving, at least from what I'm seeing. Let's go Tajani. So a bit of support for one of the Flying Dutchmen, and it is for Tajani here. And the two soft tyre runners, as you would have expected really, have got away cleanly, with Bad Boy leading Tajani for the start of this race. So lap 1 almost at a completion. It's Bad Boy from Tajani, from McCage, who was trying to keep the likes of Ironbow and Ray behind. Coffee all over the back of Ironbow though. May make a move going into turn 1. And he pulls to the inside, but it's just too far adrift. And it looks like Ray has enough straight line speed to keep ahead of the Alpine. So P5 for Ray and P6 for Coffee. Let's have a little look further down. As Mrs. Pump is into the pits and may have picked up some front wing damage. Doug thinking about a move on Rusted Bolt. And the two are both on the medium tyres. And there you go. I mean, I've gone for two people I probably wouldn't have gone for, as in like they're not tier 1, but I wanted to go for something a bit different. So Ray and Doug are two drivers who are a bit different in terms of, you know, typical predictions. So yeah, let's see how it goes with Ray and Doug. William takes Kesja and is up into P12 as well, so the Red Bull will be looking to pick up that pace, whereas William down in P12, so very interesting what's happened to him exactly. Not quite got that pace just yet. Coffee still all over the back of Ray as well. Continues to move around a little bit on the screen, not absolutely major, and hopefully not enough to cause any problems, but just a little bit. So Bad Boy and Tajani now are quite firmly clear of the rest of the field. Let's go down to Rusted Bolt. Hazer again hasn't really lived up to those hard tyres just yet. Hasn't lived up to his name, but yeah, he's on the hard tyres. Everyone ahead is on softs and mediums. And Rusted Bolt still not in a position to really take advantage just yet. Those mediums will be better than the hards at this moment in time in this Grand Prix. Tajani still just 6/10, so okay, that gap is now increasing, so may have made a mistake, you know. But he is still within a second of Bad Boy, and DRS has been enabled this lap as well, so we will be using it for the first time now. Most of the drivers will. Coffee as well, who was still trying to overtake Ray, but Ray also is in DRS range of Ironbro, who is also in DRS range of McCage, but only just. It's just under a second, meaning he will get DRS here. McCage obviously won't. Coffee once again all over Ray. Yellow flags further back. It's for it's for Doug. Yeah, there you go. See, that's a dark horse. That's why he's a dark horse. That's why he's a dark horse. You've got to make that prediction, haven't you? And it is a safety car, as you can see right there. See, that's why you make Doug your prediction for dark horse, because you know something's going to happen to him. Right, obviously everyone will be allowed to overtake the safety car here. Just make sure you don't touch it. Okay, so we're pretty close then. Oh, nice little weave there from the safety car. Get 2 penalty points for that one. And now it's just down to Kesju, who did go into the pit, and also Mrs. Poem. You know, there's 3 pit stops for those at the back. But Mr. Poem stays out. Kesja is out now and will be able to overtake the safety car as well. So yeah, what about Bad Boy and Tajani though? Do they get rid of those soft tyres? Is there a benefit to doing that? Maybe not. Obviously with it being the 100% race, the soft tyres will last longer. They'll last longer than the typical 50%. Yeah, Tajani's close to Bad Boy, yep, for sure. And let's see here. Yeah, he's just, I know what Bad Boy was doing then. But we all know what he was doing then, don't we? Just trying to make Tajani have to think if Bad Boy's pitting. I don't think Tajani was ever going to pit. McCage there stays out. So they're all staying out, it seems. Yeah, so it's going to stick like this for now. I will have a couple of laps under that safety car, which gives people a chance to maybe get a little drink if they want to. Let's have a little look at the position changes actually. We've got Bad Boys up 1, obviously made that overtake early on into Tajani, going into turn 1 where he was already ahead. McCage up 1, Ironbro up 2 spots, doing well in that McLaren. Coffee's down 3, so he's lost quite a few spots actually. Ray has held position, Hazer held position as well on the hards, so pretty good from him. The only problem now for Hazer is he's going to have a bit of a challenge trying to get those hards back up to temperature. So maybe not the best time for a safety car for him. But he's going to hope he can stick with the top 6, but it will be a challenge, that's for sure. Bolt and Kaganist both up 3. Beast is down 2, William up 2, Kesja down 2, and Mrs. Perm is up 1 off Doug's DNF. First time watching a URFL race, nice. Nice, especially with it. Oh, coffee! It's under a safety car, man. How are you doing that under a safety car? Well, very interesting from coffee. And that's one of the Dutchmen as well. There you go, he just wanted to see if the grass was all okay. He's really trying to keep his country and his nation, you know, nice and green, isn't he? Fair play. I hope the grass is okay though, you know. I think coffee obviously, well, you may have to double check the grass when he comes round on the next lap, just to make sure it's all okay. So you got Kestra and the Red Bull as well down in P12. Interesting that the two in the fastest cars are down the order, but can they pick up some places though? That's the key question. They will if there's more DNFs. But yeah. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong if you're Doug. Yeah. I mean, you have to make him your dark horse, because who else can be considered a dark horse? Most of the drivers, I'm just trying to think, most of the drivers here have probably run a race by now. I mean, sure, there's a few who probably haven't, but a couple of them haven't been in the URFL for that long. Anyway, safety car is in this lap. And we'll see when Bad Boy will make a break. I'm going to go on board with Bad Boy so you can see his acceleration as well. Doug Azar Latifi. There you go. See, first time watching and you're already cracking the jokes, eh? Doug would be proud of you for that one. Right, let's see then, Bad Boy. When will he push that accelerator down? Let's see. Watching the throttle, watching the throttle. And I can imagine right now he's going, and Tajani is really quick. Following him in as well is this man McCage. Good reactions from all the drivers here. Forward side by side there is Hazer and Ulve. He goes onto the curb, which is the curb you don't want to touch. And he's down into 13th place now. And there you go, Hazer taking that place. He did leave a space as well. Oh, and Hazer's just lost it a little bit. Runs onto the grass, under threat now from Bolt. Mrs. Poem takes Kestra, who goes for a spin and will drop to 13th himself. And now Bolt all over Hazer, who interestingly did say it's easy to get those tyres back up to speed, but then he goes onto the grass. There you go. So he'll be another driver who needs to check on the grass on the next lap, just like Coffee would have had to. Right, let's see as well. Coffee's trying to battle with William here. And again, he's just dropping places, Coffee. I think it did rise ahead of Beast, but still. Yeah, not great on his restart. Still moving around a little bit though. Let's go back to Rusted Bolt as well. As Tajani and Bad Boy have got away pretty well, but not a second ahead yet of McCage, who is just keeping it in, suggesting to me that the mediums are starting to work a bit compared to the softs. But down goes onto the inside Bolt. There is space there. Hazer does provide it, but Bolt unable to make the overtake. So just has to stay in P6 for now. We'll drop down as well to these three, William and Coffee and Beast all battling away. That's Beast trying to get that power down. We'll go back up to Rusted Bolt to see if he's going to have an opportunity at any point. Hazer's dropped 1.5 seconds away from the top 4. So still needs those hard tyres to start to work. Williams' teammates battling the Astons. I mean, yeah, but although I would expect that as well. That's why they're all in tier 1. Bad Boy to Johnny, and then you've got Hazer and Bolt. Yeah, we're going to go back then to the tyres here. And the two at the front are both on the softs. Hazer's on the hards, Bolt is on the mediums. So that's your key battles at the moment, all from a tier 1 runners. And let's see also. We'll go back up though, because Tajani may be on here. Using up that ERS, he'll go for it around the outside here. Into turn 1 at Zandvoort. Tajani leads on lap 9. He takes Bad Boy. McCage is right behind now on the medium tyres. So it's a three-way tussle now with the Haas driver linking up with the Williams and the Aston Martin. Can he push closer now towards these front two? Yeah, big move out from Tajani to lead the race. He can keep the pace himself and be the pace setter here. But Bad Boy is certainly being able to keep up. Let's have a little look down further as well towards William, who was just thinking about making that move on Kaganis. He is still under pressure from Coffee. But yeah, these three battling nicely as well for P7. And they will be using our DRS up ahead as well. So let's go back to Bad Boy if he's able to close it. Doesn't look like he is. Issue is now Tajani did use a lot of his DRS to take that place. And now look, you've got McCage, and now Ironbro as well is also within a second. So the top four, can they start to pull away from like Hazer and also down the field Ray? Why did I make that prediction? Ray is also had a struggle. I think they may be the first two to DNF at this rate. Oh, and here we go then. Bolt and Hazer going side by side into turn one. Bolt is ahead and he's into the top five on those medium tyres. The big move from him. Hazer drops to P6. And let's see also further up the field with Bad Boy still chasing down Tajani. It does look like Tajani just doing nicely to hold on to that lead for now. Ironbro's just dropped outside the 1 second window in the McLaren, but the top three doing well, including your tier 2 runner, that is of course McCage. Let's drop down again to Sergeant Coffee, gonna think about a move down the inside. Again, a little bit of movement from his car, but he doesn't take that place. So let's see on Beast as well, currently occupying P10. And a lot of them are running in the DRS of the other driver ahead. And Doug leaving the session as well. After his DNF, which caused the initial safety car. Let's go back up the field to Bad Boy, who's not using up that ERS. Neither is Tajani, neither is McCage, who has got plenty of his ERS left. So he's in a good position at the moment. And all that further back, all of these drivers, Beast as well, just dropping a little bit further back, running wide as well, which may have offered Mrs. Poe an opportunity to close that gap as well. Here is Sergeant Coffee once again, going for the outside line on this time, trying to cut back on William. Again, a bit of movement there on the car. You just can't quite see where exactly it is. Let's go towards Bad Boy again. Just a few tenths behind Tajani. These two are really keeping the pace, as is McCage as well. And when will the next big overtake be? Kestia well down the order, just on the main straight now. But everyone else apart from Ray and Kestia are pretty close to each other. Also Hazer, not too far away from Bolt, who obviously did complete the move on the Williams. And now down again to Coffee, all over the back of William here, but unable to take that place. So we'll go straight up the field then, back to Bad Boy. Can he make the overtake here? He is starting to use that ERS, so he wants to... Okay, never mind. He turned off the ERS, but he still thinks that's enough, so he goes down the inside, side by side into turn one. Who will be leading, Tajani or Bad Boy? Bit of contact between the pairing, which may allow for McCage to push for it, but he's unable to. Tajani still leads from Bad Boy and Merck. Further back here, I think battles have been going on. Kaganis, William and Coffee still at it, with Beast just behind. But Kaganis still in P7. But there you go, Tajani and Bad Boy had a bit of contact, nothing too major. But Tajani is in the lead still of this Grand Prix. McCage all over the back now of Bad Boy. And yeah, those soft tyres probably aren't working too well, but they can extend their life if they stay in DRS of each other, just to hold up McCage. Let's drop back down to Coffee again, a bit of movement from his car. With Beast in the background, Mrs. Poem not far adrift as well. And let's see if there's a move from Coffee. I don't know if there's a move from Coffee. I don't know if there was any contact there. Maybe there was. I don't know if he's in that chit-chat call, but if he is, I don't know if he knows his car is moving quite a bit. I'm sure Beast will be seeing that, that's for sure. But let's see here, McCage around the outside on Bad Boy. Sort of fit no soft, certainly a little bit underwhelming at the moment. But McCage couldn't quite power his car through on the Williams. And let's see if there will be another opportunity for him. Not quite yet, so he just has to hang back for another lap, or at least 1 or 2 sectors. So let's see again though if there will be a move, and it's our Beast this time who's gone for a spin. So another driver, unfortunately, a bit of a casualty from one of the Dutchmen. A bit wide though goes Bad Boy, and McCage much more narrow, nicely onto the curb there, and it will enable him for a greater exit. But Bad Boy, with that DRS advantage as well, is able to just stay ahead of the Haas for now. And let's see as we are about to start lap 14. I do wonder if it's more an EA then. It might be more an EA thing. Let's see then if, only if, there's going to be a move or an opportunity here for McCage. Doesn't look like it. Now going to turn 1, they just has to hang back a little bit. Yeah, we need 23 to be better than this one, for sure. It doesn't look like there's any particularly good battles apart from these 3, but still no moves being able to be made here. Tajani, Bad Boy and McCage still fighting for position, but just having to hang in P1, 2 and 3 without really changing their positions. Maybe the top 2 working together just to keep McCage behind at the moment. And they are certainly in a position to extend those soft tyres. And then I wonder, when will the likes of Ironborough and Russell Bolt be able to catch up? That's when you really know those soft tyres are not working. And there may be a chance for Bolt here, who's caught right up to Ironborough now. So he's in a position where he could make an overtake. Mrs. Poem as well, right behind William. And let's see here, so McCage is too far behind. Bad Boy doesn't. Is he going to go for it down the inside? I think he's just going to hang back. And indeed he is. So let's go towards Bolt again. Running quite deep in, trying to make that move on Ironborough, but unable to. What about Mrs. Poem as well? Yeah, again, just a bit too far behind. But in that Ferrari will have good straight line speed. But then the Haas as well, powered of course by Ferrari. So he should be in a position where he can compete down the straights. And let's see again if anyone's going to be in a position where they could put some pressure on the driver ahead. This doesn't really look like it. Even Bad Boy's not getting close enough towards Tajani. Though he did just get on the curb a little bit there. Nothing too major for him. I mean, this straight's never one where you tend to think an overtake's on, unless you're really close. It's normally that main straight, but then yeah, it's not the greatest of tracks for overtaking, I've got to say. But let's see again if an opportunity is on here for Bad Boy, and it may be because he's using up the ERS, and down the inside he will go on Tajani, and he now leads the Grand Prix into turn 1. So Bad Boy back ahead with Tajani following him in, and Bolt still unable to take that place. What about the 2 Alpines? Are side by side here, Coffey and Kaganis. And there you go, Kaganis drops in behind, so Coffey is up into P7. And also Mrs. Poem still chasing down William. William not having the greatest of races in the Haas. Still down in P9, so maybe qualifying was representative for him. A little bit of a surprise maybe. Because his teammate is doing really well, he's up in 3rd place. Yeah, McCage is just sitting there, eagerly waiting for something to happen maybe. If one of them makes a pit stop, then it would cause a problem to the other driver, I imagine. Now, at this moment in time, if Bad Boy or Tajani pits, it would be great for that driver. But then they don't really want to be in any traffic. That's the key thing. especially with everyone else being on mediums or hards. The first pit stop will be made then, so Bad Boy straight into the pit. Is he going to go for the hard compound tyre or the medium compound tyre? Maybe the hards. Oh! A spin from Tajani though. Maybe he should have pitted as well. Maybe both should have pitted then, because Tajani has spun. McCage leads here at the Zandvoort. There you go, that's what he was waiting for. He was waiting for something to happen, and that has happened. One has pitted, one has spun, and McCage leads. How was your luck, McCage? How is your luck? Right, Russell Bolt now trying to chase down Ironbro, as also they will be battling here as well. Oh, Tajani with another snap, losing the place to Mrs. Poem. And that is a big snap as well from the Aston Martin. So running on the curb, a snap as well. Probably just going a lap too long on those soft tyres. And that is not great for him, because look who's only a few seconds behind. It's Bad Boy, who was the one who was chasing down Tajani in the first place. Or well, he was ahead. Just ahead. And now look. That is pretty crazy, eh? A few seconds and, what, 4 seconds maybe? 4 to 4.5 seconds between Tajani and Bad Boy, who I'm pretty sure he'll go in the pits this lap. Let's go further forward though to Bolt and Ironbro. Again, side by side, it's turn 1. Has Ironbro got the place, or does Bolt have it? They're still squabbling side by side. Bolt is ahead, and Ironbro has to just drop in behind. Tajani is in the pit, as expected, but Bolt is up into second place. Big move from him, and the Aston Martin is working his way through the field as we would have anticipated. Despite not being the best through qualifying, his overall consistency in the race is second to none, and that is why he's up in second place. Good move from him, and now we can look to put a bit of pressure on the Haas of McCage. Tajani then is out onto the medium, so he joins Bad Boy on the medium tyres. But look at the gap, 16 seconds between Bad Boy and Tajani. I mean, wow. That extra lap did not benefit the Aston Martin at all. And William as well, look how much time he has lost compared to the Alpines. He is really dropping down. Not sure why exactly. I mean, does he need a quicker car? Because I honestly thought William, I mean, Haas sort of felt representative. I don't know. Does he need a midfield car? Interesting. Very interesting. And let's see here as Mr. Poem is using that ERS up, trying to take advantage. William also was using ERS to just defend. Bad Boy the fastest lap of 1:15.8 after pitting, being the first driver to pit just to change tyres without needing to change their front wing. So yeah, Mr. Poem just has to stay behind, but arguably looks quicker than William at the moment, which is interesting. Yeah, he called it perfectly, being able to keep Tajani and also McCage behind, and then when he pitted, it was the perfect time. Anyways, Coffee then, still with that movement, but still, is now all over the back of Hazer. Of taking Kaganis previously, just a couple of laps earlier, can he make that move on Hazer? It's a key question here. Still a bit of movement, unfortunately, from the Alpine. I think it is mainly Coffee who is just moving a bit. There may be a couple of others. I think William maybe as well. But here we go then. Down the inside will go Coffee on Hazer. They are side by side, and Coffee takes the place. And there you go. That's the Dutchman, and he's up into 4th place. So on those medium tyres, still against the hards, and the mediums at this moment still looking to work a bit better. Hazer is still right behind the Alpine though. But there you go. Big move from the Dutchman, and Coffee is still up to P4, but Hazer all over the back of him. Fingers crossed there's no big lag spike at all to ensure any contact. Obviously we don't want that. But yeah, there you go. See again, Mrs. Perm still putting all that pressure on William. And William is doing well to just keep Mrs. Perham at bay as well, gotta say. Also Mrs. P doing really well to keep that pressure on. You've got Ray and Bad Boy as well. Are very close behind, and it will hold up Bad Boy, which will just give McCage that advantage if Bad Boy is held up by the 3 drivers ahead. So it's definitely on for McCage. If he's just doing a 1 stop, whereas everyone else is doing maybe a 2 stop, certainly for Bad Boy and Tajani. Oh, was William, thought he was going in the pits then, but he's not, just trying to break the toe off the Ferrari, which makes sense, obviously, with Mr. Perham being in that Ferrari. Let's see as well with Bad Boy. Interesting then, I wonder if he just lost it slightly. But these are the 4 drivers now battling away for 7th place. Of course, Bad Boy and Tajani. Oh, sorry, Bad Boy has also pitted, Tajani has also pitted, but he's a long way behind, having been threatening Bad Boy and McCage throughout this race. So yeah, interesting in terms of how the race is developing though. I think the problem now for Bad Boy is this. Ultimately, he is in a DRS train, but he goes down the inside of Ray, and it's a big move from the Williams. Is he able to hold it? But then Ray, without straight line speed off the AlphaTauri, is able to hold it, or is he? Because down the inside again goes Bad Boy, and he's ahead of Ray. Big move from the Williams. He's up into 9th place, and now has a Ferrari ahead. It's Mrs. Perham. And will Mrs. Perham have the straight line speed advantage? Yes, she will. But not getting into the slipstream of William, which probably, I don't know, does that give Bad Boy an advantage or a disadvantage? That's the question. But yeah, good move though from Bad Boy to take Ray there. But this may be a bigger problem for him potentially. But he wants to go down the inside of Mrs. Perham. And a great move it could be here. It spells danger for the Ferrari. And through goes Bad Boy into 8th place. 2 fine overtakes from the Williams. And now he's all over the back of William himself. So there you go. And now if McCage is thinking about a pit stop, it's probably going to be now, just to ensure he gets out ahead of Bad Boy. That's if he's going to go for that 1-stop strategy. If he's going to go 2-stop, he would need to think about it now. But Bad Boy goes through on William and is up into 7th place. So there you go, 3 overtakes very quickly done, all within a space of 1 lap as well. Remarkable job, and down the inside goes Ray, but unable to take Mrs. Perham. And there you go, Mrs. Perham just holding that position at the moment, but good battling between the 4 drivers. So Bad Boy is ahead of the 3, and will look to now chase down the hard tyre runners of Hazer and Caganis. As we see here, Mrs. Perham and Ray, not too much splitting them, as Ray was attempting an overtake on the previous lap. But there you go. 1.8 seconds then between McCage and Rusted Bolt, both on the mediums. A couple of seconds back is Ironbro, and then 1 second further behind is Coffee. So all on the medium tyres. Whereas Hayes' tyres now may start to work better, being on the hards, of course. Tajani as well, yep, he's starting to catch back up. Shall we have a little look at the gap to the leader just to see where the gaps are? 14.6 seconds between McCage and Bad Boy. The question is, how long is the pit stops here? I would presume Bad Boy would get out ahead, but here goes Ray now, thinking about a move down the inside, but unfortunately unable to do so. So just has to hang back, and once again Tajani, that will just give him a chance to catch back up to the back of this field. And further up the field, it is a little bit of battling potentially going on now actually, so we're going to go back to the interval. And there you go, William continuing to break that toe off the Ferrari as well, which isn't a surprise for the cars that they are in. He needs to do something different, and he is doing something different. And it'd be good to see if he can keep hold of that, or if Mrs. Perham would eventually take that place. What about further up then? Got Hazer and Coffee now both in DRS range of Ironbro. Oh, and Miss Poem, I think, has had a spin, and indeed she does. There is plenty of debris, and it is another full course safety car. Must have lost her entire front wing, and yes, she has. So she will have to go in the pits and repair that. To be fair, she could probably go hard to the end, potentially. But now it's going to make it interesting. What do you do if you are McCage? Surely you make a pit stop. And I think hard tyres are going to go on for everyone. So Bolt as well will go into the pits. Ironbro goes into the pits. Coffee stays out. Almost looked like he was celebrating then. I thought he was celebrating a win for a moment. I'm like, that's not happened. Hazer, second place then. And he is on the hard tyres. So it's going to be him and Coffee leading this race. Bad Boy also stays out. But is he out behind McCage? Yes, he is. McCage stays ahead of Bad Boy. And is on the fresh tyres as well. A few penalties hanging around. Mrs. Poem 5 seconds. Beast also got a drive-through penalty. But big news out from McCage. He's out ahead of Bad Boy. Bolt as well, P5. Ironbro on the hard compound tyre. So is he thinking about running to the end now? And even if he's not wanting to run to the end, let's say there is another safety car later down the line, he can go for softs or mediums to the end. So it's a good chance now this for Ironbro, I think, because either way he'll either end on these hards or he'll go for softs or mediums to the end. So potentially the better strategy from him. Tajani as well, still on those 7 lap hole mediums. P8, obviously, if he didn't have that spin and then that snap as well when he was just ahead of Mrs. Poem, he would be in a far better position. He'll be battling potentially with McCage and Bad Boy, but sadly, with the spin being the main configuration here, he's dropped down to P8 and is down a few drivers adrift of those two who he was battling with. William in the Haas is in 9th place. Ray as well, 10th. Pretty big for him. So pit stops being made then. Coffee and Hazer. Very close between them both actually. Going into the pits. So Coffee going for the soft tyre. Interesting. Hazer going for mediums. And Coffee is just ahead of Hazer as well. Interesting strategies actually. Soft tyre for Coffee. So he's going to be able to run into double figures on those soft tyres. And then what? What does he run to the end? Mediums or hards? Let's have a little look at the race director if it lets me. Doesn't normally let me first time. Second time it does. So these are your tyres at the moment. So McCage just have to pit no matter what. Bolt still needs to pit no matter what. Ray will still need to pit no matter what as well. Everyone else is technically fair game for whatever tyre they want. Obviously Coffee's going to have to pit. Those on the mediums are all going to have to pit anyway. But the question is about Ironbro and William as well. Also, there was one other runner, I didn't see who it was. Mrs. Perm, there you go. So 3 drivers on the hards. And they could be contemplating a run to the end on these current tyres. So, yeah, still developing nicely here. 26 laps out of 72 have been completed. And in terms of the favourite right now, well, it depends what the hard tyres will be like for Ironbro, I think. Again, whether he goes to the end or he makes a pit stop for softs or mediums later in the race. That'll be interesting. Yeah, who would I go... I mean, McCage has had such a good race, and you know what? The funny thing is I was considering McCage as my favourite to win. It was more between him and Ray, and I went with Ray being in the AlphaTauri. I sort of thought maybe it could be his day. It could still be his day somehow, but McCage has driven really well and seems to be on the right strategy as well. But yeah, it just depends though what everybody is thinking in terms of more safety cars. But at least with the 2 safety cars, if you did underfuel your car, it's probably a good thing. If you didn't and played it safe, then yeah, you're going to have plenty of fuel to run to the end. Which isn't exactly ideal because it will be a heavier car, of course. And again, we're just going to have a little quick look at the... Find it somewhere. There you go. Position changes then. As there was a switch here, apparently, between Coffee and Hazer. Seems like Hazer's just letting Coffee back ahead. But anyways, yeah, so these are the position changes. Unsurprisingly, Bolt doing really well, and Cagnis and William as well. They've made up quite a few spots. McCage, sorry, is up 3, so he's doing really well as well. I will go back. There's a pit stops as well, although we did see it on the previous screen. But the majority have done the 1 stop. Everyone has done a pit stop as well, but a few of them still need to change tyres no matter what. Right then, it's just waiting for when this man here, McCage, opts to go in that Haas, and he's really thinking about it now. And let's see if we can spot it. Here he goes, and it's a really good getaway, much quicker than Bad Boy. Really good from McCage there. And let's see now. All side by side to Johnny. Will go to turn 1, trying to go alongside Cagnis here on those mediums, but Cagnis holds firm. Still side by side they go. Contact made. Let's hope there's no damages though to Tajani, who's still trying to battle here with that of Ray. Maybe a little bit going on behind as well. And it looks like Ray is ahead of Tajani. What about further back? You still see battling and side by side squabbling here. Williams and the Alpine. Hazer, I think, is just ahead of Coffee, who still continues to move around quite a bit though. And further back, Kesture and Mrs. Perham as well, trying to keep out of trouble. But there you go, good battling going on. Maybe a collision there between Tajani and Cagnis as well. Was there enough space provided? I'm not too sure. Again, we only had 1 view of it. Would be good to have a few more views of it if they do decide to send it in. Although I'm not too sure if they will, I don't know. We'll find out obviously. But let's see, further up the field, McCage still doing really well. 8/10 ahead of Bad Boy. And leading here at Zandvoort. Will Cagnis have a run? What about Hazer? All over to Johnny now. He goes to the outside. Switcheroo. And around the outside into turn 1 at Zandvoort. Hazer and Tajani. Very close, but Hazer is ahead in the Williams. So there you go. The fresher tyres working as he is a bit slippery, Hazer. But he stays ahead in 7th place. Coffee is there as well. And he's alongside on those soft tyres. And he will take that place already. So he's up into 8th place. Those soft tyres will be working well for Coffee right now. And there you go. So good place gained from Coffee. And also for Hazer. Tajani, I just wonder if he's got some damage or not. With that impact with Cagnis, I'm not too sure if he does. It would have definitely given me a little bit of a shock though. I'm sure about that. Coffee then will try to have another run here at Hazer. What about Ray as well? On Ironburg, was thinking about a move down the inside, but unable to make that move. So let's see. I think these are all in the best battles, to be honest. Nothing going on in the lead of the race in the terms of the top 4 drivers. So I'm just going to stick at it here. Go back to Coffee actually, because he is running side by side with Hazer and should make a move down the inside into turn 1, and indeed he does. So there you go, another place gained from the Alpine, and he's up into 7th place. We'll go up to Ray, who is chasing down Ironbro. All of them are on pretty different strategies now. Always on the McLaren goes onto the curb, and through goes Ray into 5th place. So he's up with another spot and could give the likes of Coffee and Hazer and Tajani an opportunity as well. William's still struggling, I've got to say. I think William may be on for potential better car for next week. Or it may just be a weak track from him, I'm not too sure. Certainly not the pace I was expecting from the Haas of William. But his teammate McCage is showing fine pace here. Right, another opportunity is on then for Coffee around the outside on the McLaren, switch to the inside. It's ironic then that his car ghosted. That's how the game has been tonight. His car has ghosted. Right, he tries to do it again. A bit of a twitch though from Ironbro. Coffee is through. Hazer is through, maybe. He's on the outside here. And what about Tajani? Ironbro will be losing 3 positions. Oh, wow. Tajani with great acceleration. Very close to the rear wheel there, or the front wheel of Ironbro, who takes Tajani again. So he just has to keep behind in 9th place. But they are all battling here. It is some stunning battling going on here. Coffee, Hazer, Ironbro and Tajani, which would allow for those 3 cars a bit behind, William, Mr. Palm and Kestia, to just start to catch back up. Let's see Ray as well, all over the back of the Alpine of Caganis here. But at this moment in time, it looks like McCage, Bad Boy and Rust Bolt are those with the best pace, I'd say, although Coffee obviously will be on those softs. And is closing up to that battle ahead now. Let's go back to Ray and see if he's in a position to really take advantage of Caganis. Let's see then. Maybe a move into turn 1 is possible, but he's lackluster in the ERS region. And then again, Coffee's not doing great there as well. DRS is enabled. Going into turn 1, the greater straight line speed is Ray, but he is using all that ERS up. Yellow flags for Kestia in the Red Bull. Different lines taken by the 2 drivers here. Kestia had been overtaken as well by Beast, so he's just dropping back a little bit. And let's see here, Tajani will still be wanting to make that move back on Ironbro after looking like he had made the move previously. But here goes Ray, really thinking about it on Caganis, but unable to take that place just now. And he really just bump over the curb, which obviously for the new game, curbs are apparently going to be a bit better. It should be easier to ride the curbs, I think, from what they're saying. But let's see if there's any opportunities ahead again. Ray wasn't really on to go down the inside, I don't think there. He was behind, and I think Ray will probably be the one at fault for that move, I think. But anyways, we'll have to go to another battle, which could be on Ray and William. Ray is ahead of William, so that's not going to be the battle. We'll go ahead then to... maybe not Bad Boy, I'm going to go to Tajani actually. He's the closest to any driver. Pit being made by William after that contact with Coffee. Interesting that Coffee is P4. So we didn't really lose too much in terms of what happened. Most of it was actually lost out by Ray, to be fair, which was probably a good thing given Ray did make the dive down the inside. But anyways, Tajani is still all over that McLaren now. And don't forget, he has been on those mediums now for 15 laps. Didn't make that pit stop under the previous safety car. And obviously had that spin earlier in the race. Otherwise, he'll be on for battling with McCage and Bad Boy, who are obviously running in the top 2 once again. Right, DRS is activated, so can Tajani think about a move down the inside? No, he just has to hang back a little bit. And his next chance may be going into turn 1, but a move is still on. They're both very similar with their ERS, so let's see then if he can get a greater drive out of the final corner, which I think it's very close between them. And there you go, DRS giving him a greater opportunity, goes around the outside, once again, side by side to Tajani and Ironbro, who will be ahead on the exit. Again close, different lines having to be taken, the Aston Martin and McLaren, bit of contact, but Tajani is through. Can Ironbro fight back? No, he can't, so Tajani takes the place, and he's up into 6th position. Big move from him. And now can he keep working his way through the field? Oh, and Ray is out. But he's done it in the pit, so there you go. Obviously Ray and Doug retiring from the race. Never making a prediction again. There you go, so both have now left as well. But there you go, Ray is out. Unfortunately for him, wasn't his day really. Had a couple of spins and that contact with Coffee as well. So there you go, won't be taking any points from this Grand Prix unfortunately. And we'll just see if Tajani can close that gap ahead. Let's see as well with Bad Boy. Still in a slipstream off McCage. Issue is, he's used up all of his DRS. McCage certainly hasn't. He's got so much of it left that it's a clear advantage to the Haas. And what about Bolt? He's still got a little bit left, but not enough really to put any pressure on the top two right now. We'll drop further down, have a little look towards Ironbro. Yeah, he's still keeping up, to be fair, with Tajani, who of course did make the overtake on the McLaren. Just a couple of laps to go, but we'll wait to see if Tajani can close the gap up towards the cars, the top 5 ahead. Go back to the gap to the leader as well. In terms of if McCage were to pit, which I'm sure he's not going to right now, I'm sort of thinking about how the gaps have been. Maybe he would come out around Mrs. Poem, potentially. Let's go back to these two then. Bad Boy still chasing McCage for the lead of the Grand Prix. But I really don't think he's going to be able to take that place just because of the ERS levels. He needs to start recovering that ERS. Because there's no chance he's going to lead the race unless McCage makes a mistake. Oh, hang on. And now Beast has had a spin at his home Grand Prix, unfortunately. Still in P11. He is back underway, but it's not been his finest race. Him and Kes just struggling in the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Right, let's see again with Bad Boy. As our Beast heads into the pits. Is he about to end his race, or will he actually go for that pit stop? Well, he's on the hards again. So Beast will continue, it seems. He's back onto the hard compound tyre. Maybe he didn't have a spare set of mediums available, potentially. He just wants to run those hards to the end now, if he can. Or until a safety car, at least. So Tajani as well, he may have just broke outside the 1 second window of Ironbro, so that could be crucial for him. And let's go back to the interval as he is closing up towards Hazer as well. Yeah, so nothing doing here. Let's see if... Does Ironbro have DRS? No, he doesn't. So it's an opportunity now for Tajani to break away from the McLaren and close up towards the back of the Williams of Hazer. So at this moment in time, what are we thinking in the chat? Who are we thinking is going to take a win now? I mean, it's difficult to really look beyond McCage. Having the fresher medium tyres by 8 laps may help his case as well. And then what tyre is he thinking to go on to next? Is he going to go on to the softs, or will he go for hards? Because I think he's used both of his mediums now. I mean, if there were a safety car now, I think hards would be his best bet. But if there's no safety car to come, he'd probably have to go and try and make it on the soft tyres, I think. But again, they can only seem to last, what, 12, 13 laps, maybe? Can he get these mediums till lap 60, I think is the question. I don't know, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. We'll have to find out, really. I mean, not many of us would have done the full 100% tyre running, really. Although McCage may have done it, I'm sure a few of these certainly have, but... So we can only find out if they've done their testing or not. Tajani now is all over Hazer, so he's closed up pretty quickly. And Tajani in the Aston Martin seems to have a bit more pace than that Williams of Hazer right now. Which again is pretty interesting. From a neutral party, of course. Seeing these two battling in the Aston and the Williams. But it looks like Tajani, even though he's been on those mediums for 8 more laps, seems to have better pace at this moment in time. Let's go back up to Bad Boy then. He just wants to keep close towards McCage through the corners, but he really needs to stop using that ERS on the straights. And that's where he's going wrong. Oh, hang on. Beast with another spin. He's lost his front wing, which typically means something. It means a virtual safety car, which is a chance for Bad Boy to recover a bit of ERS. And that's what he needs to do. He has to start to recover it, because McCage is absolutely brilliant with that. He's got a full tank of his ERS left. Pit stop's being made, and so Coffee, this is perfect for him. He's onto the medium tyres. He's going to try and take those to the end. Interesting. Hazer as well, mediums going to the end. Potentially both of them going to the end on these medium compound tyres. Virtual, oh, it's a drive-through penalty for Beast. Oh, and he's lost his front wing as well. It's not great for him. He wasn't in a position where he could pit as well. Interesting, very interesting. Kesja's in the pits now. And which tyre will he go for? He's also changing his front wing. He's on the hards. And now Beast as well will change. I mean, isn't it funny though? The driver who lost the front wing couldn't even get in the pits by the time the virtual safety car ended to replace that front wing. Bit silly, innit? Let's go for softs. Interesting. Very interesting. Right, back to the lead of the race then. Both on the medium still. Can Bad Boy take advantage again? He's not going to be able to, because McCage has so much ERS left. That's not really benefiting Bad Boy at all, this. Maybe he is the quicker sort of driver right now than McCage. But that may be because there's two DRS zones as well. On the main straight where you can get very close, and then that sort of second straight as well. Which is a small overtaking opportunity where we've seen Bad Boy take places already. More yellow flags for someone. No clear indication as to who. Maybe Kesja. Too sure. We'll go back to this battle then with the top two. I mean, if you're going to predict anyone for a win, surely it's going to be one of these two, right? Because McCage and Bad Boy have been the two battling for large parts of this Grand Prix. And again, very close now as Bad Boy to the back of that Haas. He has done remarkably well, 23 laps on these mediums, and is still keeping pace with the Haas. I've got to say, very nicely done from him. They're both still going to have to pit again, no matter what. McCage because he has to, because he hasn't used a different set from the mediums, and Bad Boy because he's not going to be able to run these mediums to the end. So who makes that pit stop earlier? You're going to guess it's going to be Bad Boy because he's got 8 more laps on them. And then the question is, will McCage go for soft tyres to the end? As fast as laps are coming in with Hazer 14.6 on the medium, so there you go, he's the quickest right now. He's chasing down Coffee once again. Coffee also now is all over and has overtaken Mrs. Poem now, who also has Hazer on the back of her. So this should be a move for Hazer to take 2 laps on those mediums. And let's see, when will he try to make that move on the Ferrari? He'll have to think about his options here. Maybe down the inside, he thinks about it. Mrs. Pump does try to cover it off. And again, we'll take a wider line. And now goes for the narrow one. A bit of an undercut. And now, let's see, with DRS enabled, as Bad Boy goes into the pit. So this is a big moment in the race. Firstly for Hazer, secondly for Bad Boy. And let's see now, when can Hazer make this overtake? Tajani, 3-second time penalty. And it's a fun battle, this one. Can Hazer take that place with DRS? Down the inside goes Hazer on Mrs. Poem. And the overtake is completed. Kesja with another spin. It's not been his day. It's definitely not been his day. That is for sure. He is struggling out there. In the gravel, and there you go. I mean, is he going to get himself back on track? Yes, he is. But Hazer making the move on to Mrs. Poem, and is just over a second behind Coffee. We'll go to Kaganis then, as Bad Boy does come out in P4, so he's well ahead of William, for instance, who is holding up the field behind. As that's just Kesja's car. Of course he is being lapped. Maybe for a second time, I'm not too sure actually. Going to stick at it with the Alpine then of Kaganis. When can he make that move on William? Well, I've got to say, has struggled. I think he's probably going to have to take a proper midfield car for the next race. Not been his day in the Haas. Hasn't quite got to grips with it, has he? His teammate has, got to say. But William hasn't, I don't think. That's a Cole running very close then, William and Kaganis. Oh, and yellow flags. Kesja has retired in the pit, so no big deal for him, really. Not like he's done it on the track. Right, let's see again then. Will any of these three drivers really be able to fight each other? You've got the two Alpines, and you've got the Haas of William, with Hazer running pretty close as well. Could be a four-way tussle for 5th place. And different lines are being taken here. And let's see, Coffee on a much fresher tyre, same with Hazer. So will the two Alpines decide to switch positions? Will Kaganis let his teammate through to help benefit the team of Alpine here? Maybe not, because Kaganis is thinking about this move on William. And also will Coffee, so this could be a potential double overtake here. But there you go, William doing really well once again to break the toe. And Kaganis stays ahead of Coffee as well. Oh, contact with the Alpines. Kaganis is out of the race. Saw that coming, he got on the curb. And there you go, the two Alpines have come into contact. No real fault of each other except for Kaganis getting onto the curb. He is out, Coffee may have some damage, safety car is called out. And now, this makes things interesting. Lap 44, and I think this is perfect for this man here, McCage, who can go for the hard tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. And so should Rusted Bolt as well, unless he's got a fresh set of mediums, which he may do. Right, so McCage into the pits. Bolt follows him in, expecting hards for McCage, and maybe mediums again for Bolt. Let's see. Which tyre is Bolt going for? It's softs. Wait, what? Sorry, soft tyres. Hang on. Hello, softs. I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing? Soft tyres. For Rusted Bolt, soft tyres. Okay. That's not what I expected. Hazer still on the mediums. Iron Road boxed for mediums. William into the pits. Mrs. P in the pits. Coffee in the pits. Tajani stays out on those mediums. Same with Beast as well, who I think is a lap down. Rusted Bolt on the softs. Can't quite understand why. I need to have a little look at the race director because I want to see which tyres he's used. He's used 2 mediums. Okay, so that's obviously why he didn't go on a mediums again. Makes sense. But softs? Softs? Really? Mr. Consistent going for the soft tyres rather than the hard tyres. So what's he going to do now? Soft and then a second set of softs. Presumably. Okay. Whereas McCage will look to take these hards to the end. And even if he can't, he'll be able to get on softs to the end if there's a safety car on, say, lap 60. So he's in a good position, I'd say. Bad Boy's in a good position now, actually. Because he's only 3 laps on those mediums. And I think he'll be able to get them to the end. Maybe the safety car wasn't great for McCage, actually. But maybe that's why he probably should have gone for the hards on that second stint. Just to get them over and done with, really. I don't know. We'll find out, though, because McCage versus Bad Boy could be really crucial in this race. And you've got a few drivers further back as well, hopefully. Oh, that's the, as Hazer may have just got onto the curb a little bit as well. There you go, these are all the tyres. Beast still on 6-lap hold at softs. Surprised he didn't go for another set of tyres. Yeah, unfortunately for his sake, he is a lap down as well. So, this is currently how the race is going. Surely getting penalty on the safety car doesn't count. 0 time was gained. Wait. What do you mean? I'm confused. Oh. Did you get that penalty under... Oh, no. Did you get that penalty under a safety? Hang on. Oh, we did. Lap 44. Wait, what lap are we on now? We must be around 44. 46. I mean, it still counts. Yeah, unfortunately. Wow. And that could be very costly for Hazer, sadly. But yeah, we'll have to count, unfortunately, mate. Just get your head down. Try and do well in the race. At the end of the day, you can only do as much as you can. You can't do much more than that. Right, let's see when... Well, at least the good news for Bad Boy is he's got his ERS back up now. Apparently he's turned his ERS straight on. Actually, that's a smart strategy, actually. Because it means you can get straight down without having to think about it. McCage goes early. And Bad Boy just follow him. But yeah, he's interesting strategy, that. Okay. So now everyone's going to have to try and warm those tyres back up. The top 6 getting away nicely. Down goes Coffee on Miss Perm as well. So that is the overtake that he has made up into 8th place on those hard tyres. We're going to go back to these two as Bad Boy is caught up to McCage once again. But don't forget, both of these can still run to the end now. So it is effectively, not really a sprint, it's still a race to the end. It's just about who will win, McCage or Bad Boy. That is the key question here. And hopefully, I mean, for me, it could be about who saves the ERS. Oh, Bolt! Bolt has spun off! Oh, that's big for him. He was in contention as well to do something big. But now he's down to 9th place. Not ideal. Oh, very close. Touchy then from Bad Boy with McCage. And let's see. Once more. Onto the straight. Still no DRS, of course. I think we're going to have to wait not until this lap. Is it the next lap potentially or the lap after? But let's see then. Down the inside he will go. So side by side into turn 1. Bad Boy leads at Zandvoort. Can McCage fight back? No. The medium's working nicely. Bad Boy heads McCage here at Zandvoort. Big move, big lead. And can the big man, Bad Boy, take victory here in the Williams? It's got to try and run away, really. Being on those mediums, they will start to struggle at the end of the race compared to the hards. But if McCage can hold within a second, he will be in a prime position, really, I think. If there's no more safety cars. And maybe as well, I mean, he has got a penalty, but I was going to say don't quite rule out Tajani, who has shown some promising pace as well. But yeah, he's still only a half a second behind Ironbro, so if he can take really advantage of this and take the pace of Ironbro quickly, within a few laps, then he's got a chance to close that gap up and maybe get onto the podium. I think that's what he needs to hope for tonight. Alright, we'll go... I mean, look at the gap already, the top 2, so McCage cannot stay within a second. Hazer, meanwhile, will think about a move, but he can't quite make it on McCage right now. but he is directly behind. Also, Tajani directly behind Ironbro. Fastest lap being posted by Russ and Bolt, who is now starting to work on those soft tyres. But there you go, McCage, Hazer, Ironbro and Tajani all in a four-way battle for second place though. This will only benefit that of Bad Boy. Let's go down the order then to Bolt, side by side with Mrs. Perm. Got onto the grass a little bit of contact between the pairing. Bolt is off track, Mrs. Perm stays in P8. It was only a bit of contact, nothing too severe. Bolt will hope to take the place back if he can. I say take it back, or shall I say overtake again. Let's go back then to Ironbro, who is pretty close here, but then Tajani is now the driver who is closest of all these drivers. Was maybe thinking about a move on Ironbro as Coffee gets a 3-second penalty now. So just Kaiser, Tajani and Coffee with 3-second time penalties. Interesting that they are 3rd, 5th and 7th. Does that spell for bad news for Bad Boy? The fact that it's all of those with the odd numbers getting the penalties right now. Did you see this? Oh, William is ghosted, is he? Oh no, that's not William, sorry, it's Beast. Who probably should really let Coffee through. I think it's only fair for Beast to put aside here, because it's not particularly fair to really be giving Coffee the advantage of DRS, I don't think. Which is obviously, I think, what he's trying to do. There you go, he pulls aside now. See, I know the games, I know what it's all about. There you go, so I don't think he'll be able to get that DRS now, or will he? He might be able to, actually. I think he can. There he goes, so he's half a second behind, so he'll get DRS anyway. Let's see here with Hazer if he's going to really put that pressure on McCage. Who, again though, McCage is doing really well with his ERS use, so he's using that smartly. Will he use it on this straight? I imagine he may use it a bit, as Hazer used a lot of his up. Oh, and moves being made here. Tajani down the inside on Ironbro. Tajani takes the place. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he can. You betcha. He's up into 4th place. And that is a move by another Dutchman here. And they will take different lines as well, with the McLaren in the background. But Tajani up into 4th. And now he has the Williams and the Haas ahead. Can he take another place? It's really up to himself and Bad Boy and McCage and Hazer. I think those 4 in particular now to come away with a potential win. The only one of those, by the way, outside of Tier 1 is McCage. So there you go. Let's see again. That's Tajani running very closely towards Hazer, both in different cars. And at the moment, I've got to say, Tajani has shown impressive pace. Does run a little bit wide though, a bit deep, which wouldn't have helped his exit because Ironbro is all over the back of him once again. Also battles going on further back. But let's see again if Hazer, again he's using up that ERS very early doors, and it's going to damage him on the straight. And let's see if he can take the place, but I don't think he can. Down the inside, no chance. Tajani got close once again. Just have to make sure Ironbro is behind. Just got a bit squirmy, however. But didn't cost him too much time and can get straight back into this battle. So fortunately for him, Bolt also is just unable to get that place on Mrs. Poem. So he just has to stay in P9. Also on the soft tyres. It won't be helping his case. So not ideal for him. We're going to go further forward again to Tajani, as Ironbro has now just started to drop back a little bit on those mediums. Oh, that wide line goes Hazer. Tajani was thinking about a move down the inside, unable to make it. Again, a little bit squirmy from the Aston Martin. Would have cost him a little bit of time as well. And let's go here with Hazer. He wants to do it around the outside. And now he will have an inside line. And should he take the place side by side around the final bend here, we're going to go aboard with Tajani. A double overtake maybe on. 3 abreast into turn 1. It's epic. We'll watch on board with Ironbro here. So it looks like Tajani is ahead. He joined in the battle as well. It's a four-way tussle here on real scenes. And McCage is behind. Tajani is through into second place then. Tajani, McCage, Hazer and Ironbro. Epic battling going on. And Tajani is up into second place. Big move executed by the Aston Martin. And now he will hope to chase down Bad Boy. Big pivotal overtake close. Great battling here. Really nicely done. And we're going to see as well, Coffee could be in a battle with William, where he may be able to take that place as well. Oh, interesting though. Mistake made by Hazer, who has now dropped to 5th place. Ironbro on to 4th. Big move from him as well. Well, that further down then, Coffee is still wanting to make this move on William, who, by the way, has now pulled within a second of Hazer. So this battle has gone down to 7th. Oh, and Coffee, I mean, I don't know what on earth happened there. Was there something with him and Beast, who should have been ghosted? I don't know, but either way, he's lost a lot of time now to the back of that battle. We'll go back to McCage then, who again has still got plenty of ERS left. So an opportunity is still on for the Haas. And they could break away from Ironbro as well, but again, he's just putting that gap back in. Maybe it's good for William as well, this, you know, because he was nowhere in the race, and now he's got himself into 6th and into DRS range of lows ahead. Meanwhile, Bolt did get ahead of Mrs. Poem and is up into 8th position. Going to go back then to, I think we'll go to Hazer to see if he can retake the place of Ironbro. It looks like Ironbro was able to really catch up in those corners though, I think. Maybe just loses a bit of time through the straights. Let's see here with Hazer. Just not quite close enough, obviously, with Ironbro having that DRS as well. That Tajani move was a bit of a Verstappen-like move, to be honest, down at Miami. Where, I can't remember who he was battling with, but yeah, it was really good from Verstappen, and there you go, you saw it there from Tajani. But that was in an Aston Martin, on a Haas and a Williams. So there you go, done really well. I say on a Williams, was it Hazer or Ironbro? I think it was Hazer. I'm pretty sure. With yeah, because Ironbro was in the background and then he joined in the battle as well. It was pretty remarkable. But McCage is still keeping that pace over to Tajani, who isn't really closing up to Bad Boy. Get the gap to the leader on as well. But we'll just stick to the broadcast view just until we see another good battle going on. But it's definitely on between Lee's 4 drivers, and just see if Tajani can close that gap up as well. Oh, so it looks like someone's making the clips as well. Nice to see. Thank you for that, Frost. I think it'd be good to show, probably put it in the showroom or something, I'd say. Tajani would enjoy watching those back, wouldn't he? Yeah, that was a proper move. It was good. Good racing. And that's what we want to see here in URFL. Some good battling, good racing. Don't really want to see collisions. You just want to see pure battling, and that is what we want to see. Right. Let's get the interval back. Let's actually, yeah, the fastest lap is still for Bolt, 1:14.2. And we'll go to the interval. Again, Bolt, though, is all over the back of Coffee. So an opportunity could be on for him. But again, they are into Sector 1 now, going into Sector 2. So there won't be a chance right now, unless there's a mistake from Coffee. So we'll go back up then to the Haas of McCage. William as well, unfortunately for him, has just dropped off from the top 5. So it is only a 3-way... actually, no. It's still a 4-way battle for second, actually. Yeah, wicked clips are in. Some good. It is a good racer here, I've got to say. It is difficult to complete overtakes, but as you've seen from Tajani, and we've seen Bad Boy as well, McCage, quite a few drivers making the good overtakes. It's good to see. Let's go back to Russ's Bolt around the final bend. Will there be a chance for him? The problem is though, Coffee's got DRS now. on William, so I don't think Bolt is in a position to really take advantage. Sadly for him, he has closed up maybe a lap or two too late, and especially being on those soft tyres. But now is the time for drivers to really think if they're going to have to pit again. So we've got, what, 15 laps remaining here at Zandvoort. A good lead from Bad Boy. Again, he's on those mediums, which he'll be fine to run to the end. He won't want another safety car. Definitely not. He probably wouldn't even want a virtual safety car, to be honest. Actually, I don't know. Virtual safety car may not be too bad, actually. But a full course safety car he would not want, I don't think. Oh, let's go down then to Coffee, who is rapidly catching up towards William, as is Russ Bolt as well. Yeah, just unfortunately unable to make the move. Still a little bit of movement going on, sadly. But yeah, I think it does mainly seem to stem around Coffee, from what I'm seeing. Maybe a little bit of other drivers at times, mainly from Coffee, I think. We'll go back to Makeda, who is, yeah, he's getting closer towards Tajani. That's the one. Just waiting for those hard tyres to work better than the mediums. And he will hope it's not going to be the case as what it was earlier in the race, when he just couldn't get by Bad Boy or Tajani. Until pit stops were made, and then the spin from Tajani as well. And also Bolt as well is still very close to these two. I'm a bit surprised. 13 laps on those soft tyres. And yet he's still able to really hold in with William and Coffee. Very impressive from him to keep up with this. But he's still going to have to pit again. Whereas apart from Beast, I doubt anyone else is going to box again. But at least he can get another set of soft tyres on. So let's see then if anything is going to emerge here from Coffee with William. It doesn't look like it. Same with Russell Bolt, although he's getting closer into turn one, just not close enough. And he'll just have to stay in behind the Alpine of Coffee. Let's go again further forward. Hayes is still all over the back of Ironbro, but the problem is that mistake has really cost him that place, plus the 3-second penalties as well. Doug saying McCage, Bad Boy and Tajani all on for drive of the day. I would firmly agree with that. Who else would I put in for drive of the day? Wait, hang on. I put Ironbro done pretty well as well for me. Being in a representative car as well. And if, to be honest though, I would say as well, William maybe not in a representative car from tonight's showing, but, and I will say only but, he's done really well in terms of that defending, which he's had to battle with Mrs. Poem in a Ferrari as well, and now trying to keep Coffee and Bolt behind, which you imagine now will come to an end, because Coffee is all over William. Oh, and also going further forward to Johnny and McCain side by side into turn one. Here we go, still squabbling and battling. And there you go, Tajani stays ahead of McCage. Mrs. Poem Beast into the pits. We're going to drop to Ironbro, who again is all over these two. Once those two drivers are battling, it's always a good chance for the drivers behind just to start to catch up even more. And that is the case for these two, Ironbro and Hazer. So further down, William, Coffee and Bolt still in those positions as well. William keeping Coffee behind for another lap potentially. Let's see again though, Hazer with a greater acceleration. But it doesn't look like he's in a position to overtake Ironbro right now. So we'll go further. I was going to go to Coffee, actually see where he is, but not in a position really. So we're going to go back to McCage, who has again got plenty of ERS left, really using that well. He's trying to use it now. He's using quite a bit of it because once again, down the inside goes McCage. Still side by side. The exit is good from both. A little bit of a squirmy battle, which may allow for Ironbow, but he's not in a position to overtake. Yellow flags for our Mrs. Poem, actually, in the Ferrari. Although the yellow flags aren't even in that right place. Look at the map and where the yellow flags are. That is ridiculous from the game. Oh, there you go. The yellow flags are in the right place now. Mrs. Poem is going for an interesting drive. There you go. A little bit of a Sunday drive from Mrs. Poem, perhaps. Had enough of Zandvoort, maybe, I think. Oh, Coffee as well is still right behind William. But William's doing really well to keep Coffee behind. Coffee in that Alpine. William has done a really stern job tonight for me. And down the inside thinks about it, Coffee, but yet again unable to make the move. Let's go back to Hazen then. Issue for him is that Ironbow will also have DRS. And yeah, just unable to really close up. Same with McCage, hasn't quite closed up towards Tajani. And the gap now is 5 seconds from Bad Boy to these 4 drivers. Coffee once again unable to overtake. Bolt, 17 laps on those soft tyres. Surely he's going to have to pit again, right? Surely. Oh, Mrs. Poem now with a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane. White line. And now Beast is only 8 seconds behind as well. Which really does bring a bit of pressure towards that Ferrari to stay ahead of the Mercedes. So those two could be on for a battle. Hazer again. A little bit of a wheel spin, but nothing severe. And we'll go back to the Haas of McCage. If he can catch up towards Tajani and overtake, then it'll be interesting to see if he can get those hard tyres to close up towards Bad Boy. But at the moment, it just doesn't seem particularly likely from McCage, unfortunately. It looks like Bad Boy is on for a victory here, which we did contemplate after that second safety car. That Bad Boy seemed to be on the better tyre, to be fair. I don't know, maybe if McCage had done it the same sort of way, if he went mediums, hards, mediums, he could be on for a better race right now, but yeah. But the hard tyres hasn't quite worked for him, sadly. Right, Beast the fastest lap now, 1:14.2, just a bit quicker than Bolt actually. Because Bolt did also set a 1:14.2 if I remember correctly. And he is still working it pretty well behind Coffee though. Oh! And Tajani! That's gone off track! And through goes McCage, Ironbow and Hazer. And Tajani's down to 5th place. It's on for McCage now to close up towards Bad Boy. That is exactly what he needed. He would have loved that one, McCage. He would have loved it. So now, can he catch up towards Bad Boy? That is the crucial question now. We've got, what, 9 laps remaining. And McCage will really hope that that slip or whatever happened to Tajani will benefit the Haas driver. Let's see if it will, though. And further down, all in the slipstream of each other, William, Coffee and Bolt. Still, nobody able to really pass William. I mean, he's done a superb job in my opinion. I mean, still keeping these two behind. Coffee going for a wider line. A much wider line, but still unable to take that place. Bolt still, I'm presuming, will have to pit again. And will come out in 8th place, so it's not like he's going to lose any spots. Should be able to take that fastest lap back, I imagine. We'll go back towards... We'll go back towards these guys, actually. I was going to go towards Hazer, but I think with these three battling nicely, I think we have to go with them. But we'll keep watch of Hazer. Oh! And Coffee has made a mistake, and through goes Bolt. So he has a chance now. Again, he's still questioned if he still needs to pit. I think surely he does need to. I'd love to know his tyre wear right now. But there you go, Bolt is up into 7th place. very strange there from Coffee. It almost looked like his car just completely stalled. Right, we'll go back towards Hazer then. As Tajani's into the pits. I don't think he got any damage from that as well. So interesting. He's going to go for soft tyres and probably try to take the fast lap himself. Oh, he's retiring. And he's going for hards, but he's retiring. So Tajani is out after that slip. Beast with the fast lap of 14.1 for him. McCabe was still not quite catching Bad Boy. Still 5.8 seconds. Don't worry about the yellow flags. It's just for the retirement of Tajani. I don't know, Bolt, I mean, we're on lap 65. I don't really see why Bolt right now would pit again. But he's all on that curb, which is not the curb you want to be onto. And as a result, Coffee is there as well now. Having been overtaken on the previous lap right here as well. But again, he's just unable to really make the overtake. Let's go back towards Ironbro, who is chasing down McCage. And it does look like Bad Boy's going to come away for a clinical victory here. Right strategy, making the pit stops at the right time. The strategy obviously was crucial, but that second safety car meant that he was on the favourable medium tyres. And that has really helped his cause tonight. Back towards Bolt, still not in a position to overtake. Coffee as well, obviously Mrs. Poem Beast making the moves on Tajani, who obviously made that DNF. Tajani saying his left hand starting to hurt as Coffee makes another mistake then. Yeah, left hand. I'm not surprised, to be honest. It is a 100% race. Not easy to get through, is it? Right, back then with Bolt. Trying to overtake William. I mean, these soft tyres should be dead by this point. So fair play to both for the fact that they're still able to battle each other. With William just about hanging out ahead. Doesn't look like McKay just got it in him to catch up to Bad Boy as well. Right, and let's see again if there's a chance here for Bolt on the straight. I don't think there is, so he's just going to have to stay behind again for another lap. I think the two Haas drivers have defended really. Oh, and Bolt goes into the back of William. And he goes into the back, and there is contact, there is damage as well, and that is really unfortunate. William has driven really well tonight, done such a great defensive drive on so many drivers that he's battled with. Yeah, I've got to say, feel sorry for him for that one. Alright, we're going to have to go then towards these drivers here. I think McCage, Ironbro and Hazer. Although then again, I think Coffee, yep, Coffee taking Bolt, who does have damage himself now. Yellow flags? Who is it? It's Bad Boy! Oh, this could be tense. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the mistake McCage was wanting. The gap now, 1.2 seconds. And now it is Ironbro! He's out of the race! Lap 67? What has happened? It's a full course safety car! Wow, wow, wow. So Hayes is into the pits. He will go for the softs. Very fortunate for Bad Boy and Merck, by the way. They are just ahead of a safety car. So it's going to be soft tyres to the end now, surely. Unless anyone wants to take a risk. And it will be interesting now for Bad Boy, for McCage, Coffee. But most of them are pitting. So Hazer and Bolt both on a soft. Bolt obviously changing his front wing. Who will be ahead, William or Bolt? I think it would just about be Bolt. Yeah, indeed he is. So they're both on the soft, so in P5 and P6. Yeah, big list for all of the drivers though. Right, let's see again then. So I'm expecting here all of the top three, surely they're going to pit. Bad Boy, who obviously made that mistake, and it's, you know, I'm not saying it's going to cost him a win now. because the fact that the safety car did come out for Iron Bros DNF, but, and that's going to be super frustrating as well. 67 laps completed. Bad Boy's incident distracted me and I went wide. Oh no. And Bad Boy stays out. McCage goes into the pits, which I think is probably the right call. And what about Coffee? Is he going to make a pit stop? Or does he stay on the hard tyres? He is going to stay out. And I think he will be ahead of this man here, McCage. But McCage, I think, will be ahead of Hazer. And yep, indeed he is. So, it is Bad Boy, 27 laps on those medium tyres. Then it's Coffee, 24 laps on the hard tyres. Has a penalty as well. McCage, fresh, soft tyres. This is his game. It's just about if he can overtake Bad Boy. That's the crucial question now. What we thinking then in the chat? Who's going to take victory here? Surely it's Bad Boy or McCage. Neither of them have a penalty. Whereas Coffee and Hazer both have penalties, which I'm presuming are both legitimate as well. Then you got Rusted Bolt and William also on the fresh softs. And then at the back you've got Beast and also Mrs. Poem. I would say right at this moment in time, I feel like the best thing to do, unless the safety car comes in this lap, which hopefully it doesn't. I think it will come in next lap. But it would be good probably if Beast went off track and just let these two, Bolt and William, through. Just so it makes it easier to have a top 6 battling and then Beast and Mrs. Poem battle to the end as well. But yeah. Mrs. P said the same. She brushed the barrier and took a knock on her wing. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a... Phew, Bad Boy, you're running very close to that safety car. Crikey. So Beast is back into the pits and running, going for soft tyres. Will he get out ahead of Mrs. P though? I think so. So yeah, Beast is ahead of Mrs. P, but they are both on the soft tyres now and will run to the end. And that's probably great for Bolt and William now, who will be right behind the top 4. So this will be the last lap under a safety car. And it is Bad Boy and Coffee who are on the old tyres. Yeah, it's just about when can McCage overtake Coffee. We're going to have 2 laps of racing. It is going to be tough for McCage. If he wins from here, McCage, then I think he should be driver of the day. Let's see. Ironbo be nailing that last corner of race. Slight lapse of concentration and then I'm out. Gutted. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you may have the stream on and you probably didn't expect Bad Boy to have whatever happened to him. Caganus, safety car or curbs, that's driver of the day. I mean, the curbs I always know as they are pretty deadly around here anyway. And to be fair, I mean, it's not quite what it was in Tier 1 last week, because at least then it was more collisions, whereas this one I think has been more individual mistakes in terms of going into the barrier themselves, I'd like to say. But anyways, here we go. 2 laps of racing. Oh, it's a great getaway from Bad Boy. Coffee is slow. McCage and Hazer trying to take the place. Here we go. Hazer is through. He's into second place. Wide line from Coffee. Can he execute an overtake? Yes, he can. Maybe a bit of contact, though, with this man here. With Coffee, who's just losing places for days. Hazer, though, is into second place. I think he'll lose it anyway because of that penalty. Oh, and Coffee is out of the Grand Prix. Gutting for him. He was on the old hard tyres. Couldn't get them to work against all of those on the soft tyres. The pack of wolves is what we'd think of them as. And now let's go further forward again, because Hazer will try to overtake Bad Boy. Obviously he's got a 3-second penalty, so he would love to take 3 seconds out of Bad Boy onto the last lap. So here we go, he was thinking about a move. He has to hang back, And we are about to start the final lap here at Zandvoort. William takes Bolt into 4th place as well in the background there. So here we go for the second last time around the final bend. And now onto the main straight. Hazer, Bad Boy, McCage, who will win this Grand Prix? Hazer with the fastest lap. Down into turn 1 goes Hazer. And he takes the place. He takes Bad Boy. That isn't crucial because I don't think Hazer will win. I think it's between these two, and that is what McCage would have wanted because he's thinking about it around the outside. He can't quite execute it, so he has to just try and sit in for a little bit of time. But great drive he gets from the Haas, side by side. Here we go. Can he take it? He's onto the curb, so he has to hang back again. He will have to really think about this overtake now. Hazer won't take 3 seconds surely out of these two drivers. It's going to be one of these two, Bad Boy or McCage, to win here. And this may be his best bet for McCage. Great acceleration around the outside, side by side, once again. Contact may have been made. Oh, and he's into the wall, I think, Bad Boy. And it through goes McCage. I think space was left. And McCage is through. He's on to win this Grand Prix here. Hazer takes an on-track win, but with the penalties, it's going to mean a Haas 1-2. Unbelievable. William is second. Where did that come from? William is second. McCage wins. A remarkable end to the Grand Prix there. Oh, wow. Unreal scenes. And that was enjoyable. I'm going to have to get my voice back. Which might take a while, I'm not going to lie. But a Haas 1-2, which came from nowhere because I've got to say William didn't quite have the pace, but he'll be delighted with second. But there you go. Crazy scenes, epic race, and that has been Zandvoort. Wow. Phew. So 2 Haas and an Aston Martin on the podium. And yeah, let's try and get my voice back. Because that was pretty crazy. Whew, right, there you go. So, McCage, William and Bolt onto the podium. Fastest lap goes to Hazer. Bad Boy gutting for him with that contact with McCage, but 5th place for him. Mrs. Poem still comes through to take 6th ahead of Beast. Those two probably did have a little battle to the end, but there you go, 6th and 7th for them. Coffee only managing 8th, unfortunately. But then again, did he get a DNF, I think, so he doesn't actually take points, unfortunately. So only 7 drivers finishing. And actually, ironically, only one of them are Dutch, and it's Beast. So there you go. Beast is technically on top of the Dutch drivers. There you go. But yeah, 7 drivers finishing, but it is McCage who edges out the rest of the field. In the end, that strategy was the right call for him. But there you go. Really good battle. And there you go. I'm going to get my voice back, and I will say tomorrow we'll be back at Abu Dhabi for Saturday night at 10 o'clock. That could be big in the international tier. And then obviously we'll be back during the week for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. But yeah. Whew. I'll just wait for everyone to move off the screen, I think. Or should we just leave it here? Well, if I screenshot that, then I'll go into the race direct, and then I'll go into instant, and we can go through it pretty slowly because the 30 seconds hasn't even begun. So, there you go, we don't need to rush through it. Here you go, pretty easy. Pit stops as well, these are all the pit stops. A few front wing changes. Who needs to change their front wing the most? Let's find out. Like, Kesture's on it twice, Mrs. P's on it twice. Beast as well. Ray, Kesture 3 times, Beast twice. Coffee, Mrs. P 3 times. Bolt as well. And Mrs. P 4 times, so there you go. 4th time. And Mrs. Poem actually does change her front wing the most in the whole race. But she finished the race. But there you go. Good battling though. And yeah, out of nowhere, the two Haas drivers, first and second. Whew. The 100% races are always pretty enjoyable, I think, from a comms perspective. Having done it a second time now. Obviously, I'm going to do it again next week because I enjoy doing the comms on it. Don't get me wrong, it is hard work, but I just enjoy it personally. But yeah, we're going to be back next week, and obviously with the 100%. Let's have a little look where it will be. Race calendar. Where is 100% tier? So it will be at Monza again. Back at Monza. Been there a couple of times already this season, so we'll be back at Monza for the 100% tier. But anyways, that has been your thrilling finale here. Thank you for watching. We have been URFL. I've been Viva F1 Comms. Thank you for watching, and good night.